Hello everyone, I'm Brian Miller, and this is the NewsNet Weekly Roundup, the weekly show where I break down the biggest news stories out of the Star Wars universe. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be notified anytime there's new content. Without further ado, let's get started. More bold new animated looks at the Star Wars franchise from an international cultural lens are reportedly coming soon, as Star Wars Visions has reportedly been renewed for a third season. One Take News has stated that, according to multiple sources, Lucasfilm is already moving forward on creating Star Wars Visions Volume 3. While there is no word on which animation studios are involved with the series, One Take News indicated that multiple studios have already started work on their content even before the first reports of a renewal made their way online. Back during 2022's Celebration Anaheim, it was stated that Star Wars and anime had a very bright future together, despite the fact that the second season of Star Wars Visions was, aside from The Pit, predominantly animated by studios that exist outside of Japan. That appears to be changing in the third season of the show, which may have a greater amount of anime content mixed in with shorts from around the world. It stands to reason to assume that Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy visited Japan to talk to various anime studios for a reason. As it stands, Star Wars Visions has managed to unite an assortment of animation studios from Japan, Spain, Ireland, Chile, the United Kingdom, South Korea, France, India, and South Africa under the realm of the galaxy far, far away, with news stories and interpretations of the franchise that skirt in and out of the realm of canon in order to deliver distinctive perspectives on what the franchise is and what it means to fans from all around the world. The series has quickly become a fan favorite, and the possibilities for it appear to be endless. Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Star Wars Visions are available to stream exclusively through Disney+, while Volume 3 is in development for an unspecified release date. Rumors are circulating about a new Star Wars RTS game from, quote, a big-name developer, unquote. This rumored game is supposedly separate from the previously announced Star Wars strategy game coming from Respawn Entertainment. While this news should be taken with a grain of salt, it comes from a reputable gaming industry source that believes the unannounced project is well in development. In January of 2022, it was announced that Respawn Entertainment, the company behind the past two Star Wars Jedi games, would be collaborating with a newly formed company called Bit Reactor to make a new Star Wars strategy game. The new company, composed of ex-Firaxis employees, the company behind XCOM and Midnight Suns, is slated to be working on a game focused more on tactics-based strategy gameplay. This is different from the newly rumored game that appears to be more in line with the RTS genre. If the rumors are true, this could be the spiritual successor to Star Wars Empire at War that many fans have been asking for. Star Wars Empire at War was released in 2006. The game would go on to spawn an expansion titled Forces of Corruption. However, since then, the RTS genre has changed drastically. While the genre was popular around the mid-90s to mid-2000s, the genre hasn't seen the same level of popularity since. Being that Star Wars is such a large franchise, it'll be interesting to see how and if the rumored title will adapt and cater to modern audiences who may or may not be familiar with the genre. The ninth set of Star Wars Essential Legends Collections books includes new reprints of novels in the X-Wing and Republic Commando series. As discovered by Twitter user SW Books, 3 new books from Star Wars Legends are getting releases. X-Wing Wraith Squadron by Aaron Alston, Republic Commando Order 66 by Karen Travis, and Knight Errant by John Jackson Miller. The current release window for Wave 9 is set for February of 2024. These books are reprints of stories from the Star Wars Legends continuity with new cover art. Waves 7, 8, and 9 of the Essential Legends collection will arrive on August 15th, October 23rd, and February of 2024, respectively. Empire Magazine's Summer 2023 issue came packed with a 20-page coverage on the Star Wars franchise from its present to its future. It featured interviews with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, the cast and crew of Ahsoka, and many more. Perhaps most notably, however, Kathleen Kennedy has been asked once again about many of the projects that they've been announcing over the past few years and on which we've seen little progress. For instance, one question that always pops up is related to Rian Johnson and his once-announced trilogy of films. Kennedy went back to her previous statements saying that they are talking all the time, but Johnson is just too busy. That Kennedy and Johnson had a really good relationship working on The Last Jedi was quite evident at the time, so it's really no surprise that the two keep in touch. And speaking on things that were once announced that are ultimately unlikely to happen, LANDO and Rogue Squadron. Interestingly enough, both were announced on the same day during Disney Investors Day 2020, and next to A Droid Story, are the only projects that haven't seen much development. The history of Rogue Squadron has been well documented, or at least what the press has revealed, yet LANDO has seen very little development over the years. At the time, it was only announced that Dear White People's Justin Simien was developing an event series titled LANDO, but we didn't have any other names linked to it. At the time, Simien was working on finalizing the last season of Netflix Dear White People, which aired in September of 2021, but instead of focusing on LANDO next, he moved on to direct Disney's Haunted Mansion. Since then, he's also signed up to direct a Flashdance reboot for Paramount Plus and a docu-series with Forrest Whitaker focused on the Black experience in cinema history. We don't know if he's still in conversations with Lucasfilm about LANDO, especially since every time Kennedy is asked about the show, she dodges the question and attributes it to Glover's busy schedule. She told Empire, "LANDO is still on the books and Rogue Squadron is still on the books. We just want them to be great." Another film that is still quote-unquote on the books, but perhaps in a more advanced stage, is Taika Waititi's untitled film. A recent report by Deadline hinted that the filmmaker, despite signing up for every project under the sun, still wants to make his Star Wars movie and would like to shoot it next year. Kennedy provided a small update here saying that the script is coming together, especially the first and second acts, but they still need to find a resolution for it. She said, "Taika is working away. He's just, and he won't get mad at me for saying this, slow. We've got a couple of acts, we need a third." Dark Horse has announced a condensed release schedule for the remainder of Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures. Issue 5 of the 8-issue series was set to release this week, but it was delayed at the 11th hour. That issue will now become available on May 31st, with something special happening for the final 3 issues. In an event rare for comics, issues 6, 7, and 8 will release simultaneously on June 28th. The series recently took the leap to the Battle of Jeddah at the end of issue 4, meaning over the course of a month, readers will get to see how the ongoing story folds into the cataclysmic events of the Forever War that has been central to Phase 2 storytelling. Another note for those keeping track of all things High Republic, June 28th will also mark the finale of Phase 2. And finally, we have some new canon for you this week. Darth Vader number 34 and the High Republic number 9 released on Wednesday. Reviews for those entries into the canon timeline can be found on our website. And that does it for your Newsnet Weekly Roundup this week. All of these stories and more can be found in greater detail on our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com. Don't forget to check back regularly for updates to stories and breaking news out of the Star Wars universe. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow me on Twitter at BrianMiller1138 and catch me each week on my show, the Star Wars Canon Podcast. Until next time, may the Force be with you.